Alright, so here's the lens cover. This is the OEM. Let's take this guy off here. Alright, so there's the captive clips. They are pretty small, very delicate. Not so much on the injection molded side, but when you 3D print them, you know, I 3D printed Heiko's version, and as you can see, I've already snapped one of these guys off, but I modeled it myself, and unfortunately had similar results. I guess, you know, they're just far too small for the print upright like this because the the layer lines run vertically. This print quality is poopy, by the way. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. It's the same thing. It's just they're far too flimsy to print that way. I mean, this model works good. It's just, you know, those guys are just far too delicate. So I was looking at the motor, the arm, and I thought, you know, maybe I could do something with these screw holes. And I think Heiko alluded to that this morning. The issue is where these vent hole openings line up. It's really just not conducive to making a change like that. I mean, I guess you could use this screw hole. I mean, it's further away from the wiring and what have you. And, you know, you could put a hole here and, you know, fill in with plastic in these areas to kind of give it more support. But, I don't know. Maybe you'll have to source a longer screw, I guess, but I don't know. I just got to thinking about it, and I'm like, you know, you may be able to do something with these holes. You know, these guys are far too small, and obviously you got wiring that runs through this guy, but this dude here is pretty clear. It's got some good clearance. It looks pretty good. You might be able to do something with that, so I modeled up my version. Which, you know, if you look at it, it looks very similar to the original. I made this whole surface flat. I originally modeled it exactly as this is, and as the OEM was, and it just looked like it would be very difficult to print. So I flattened this guy out, and I also made this overall thickness a lot thinner, probably half the thickness. And the reason why is, you know, I don't have any opaque plastic. I just have, you know, pure white filament. And so I wanted to make that thin enough that perhaps the LEDs would shine through. But I added this large flat area here. And the thought was I could use some double stick VHB tape. I cut small squares and place on both of these sides. And once this is inserted into the arm, clipped in, that tape would be hitting these large flat areas here. And that would give you some additional holding power. But the main thing that would be holding would be this post. I designed this post, this rectangular post, with 3-degree draft angles all the way around it. So, you know, the edges taper outward as you get down further on the post. So this guy will fit, or should fit perfectly inside of this hole. And as you press it in, you know, that taper is getting wider. And with the layer lines, you know, it should give some holding force there. whole set of these guys so I could do some testing. But anyway, so the idea is you'll get this dude and you'll line it up to where that post is sitting right where that hole is, and you can see it wiggles there. The post is inside the hole right now, but it's not pressed in. Now I've got these little key slots that line up with the features in the plastic here. These guys, and they're pretty tight, so it should help hold it there as well. So we line those dudes up. It seems like that's in there, and then we squeeze that guy in. It's pretty tight, and then from there, looks like it's in there. It doesn't wiggle at all. Looks pretty good. You know, with that VHB tape, it probably would hold even better. I mean, long term, definitely. But here's the main thing. You know, this is a two-tone print. I did white on black. White for the where the LED board sits over the LEDs. And so hopefully this thing will line up. So I got power supply leads. Turn the light off here. Let's see. Green is power. Purple is ground. Good connection. There we go. And they light up. I can hold the power connection stable. Trying to do this left-handed is kind of hard. So that works pretty good. It's not as bright as the OEM ones, but you know, it is what it is. I mean, obviously if they disappear. I mean, it's projected enough light, you can see it on my fingers, and it's probably plenty good enough for flying dusky dark. I guess the body would have to do some testing in the daylight hours and see what it looks like. Yeah, how hard will this be to get off here? Yeah, okay, well that held pretty good. So I may try adding the VHB in here and see what that looks like. I think it's a lot better than the snap-in version, but I may be able to find some opaque 3D printer filament and give that a go. I'm sure that will be, yeah, see, there's some wiggle in the OEM one, but they're relying solely on those captive snaps to hold it in there. But anyway, kind of promising, I guess.